All right. Good evening. Who we got? Hello, Nightmares. Hello, Mad Dog. Hola, Hero. Good evening, Hybrid. Give everybody a couple more minutes here. I had a nice, interesting, peaceful day off work that I spent most of my time researching this stuff. What's up, Blame Tag? What's up, GT Geek? Watching from work. That's what's up. All right. So, um, everybody's familiar with this Spotify Unwrapped thing, right? You know, I'm seeing it all over Twitter, and evidently it crashed Spotify because I noticed where I had episodes loaded and embedded into tweets and posts and stuff like that, it was showing an error. It wasn't showing anything. Well, I got an Unwrapped too, so this is kind of cool. So this is Spotify for podcasters, and this is just obviously for 2022. So 48 episodes so far, 2.9K minutes, 15 different countries, 434% increase in followers. The podcast was in the top 30% most shared globally, with the top being direct link, 20% via text, which is crazy. The next is Twitter, believe it or not. So I kind of thought Twitter would be the number one, but it's not. Also, top 20% most followed podcasts. I guess that's something. And then it shows you the stats. Up 434% in followers, up 351% in streams, up 299% in hours, and up 219% in listeners. So that was kind of cool. I don't know what that means. I guess it's good. You know, the reporting that I get on plays and stuff is hit or miss everywhere. So I'm not real sure. But Blame Tag says, I could tell you from the serving times that Twitter is ass for getting clicks. I'm guessing that's what that is. Good job. Yeah. So that was kind of neat. But, you know, keeping with the format, we have headlines to go over. So here we go. Headlines and headaches for this week. All the links to these articles are in the description of the video once it goes live. So please go check these out. They're actually pretty good. Returns are the retail industry's quietly mounting logistics problem. Many returns travel through a complicated web of warehouses, secondary resellers, and landfills. Sure. Retail Trade Group, we know who that is, Blame Tag. You're proudly banned by them and blocked. Retail Trade Group says rail strike could derail holiday shopping overall economy. Pelosi reportedly said a bill to avert a rail strike will reach the floor on Wednesday, which is just garbage because, you know, I don't get into politics, but for a president who said he was pro-labor, this is about as anti-labor what they're doing, you know, and pay attention because what happens if they decide, okay, we can pass bills or resolutions to negate, you know, strikes and whatnot. What happens when they do it to retail? That'd kind of suck, wouldn't it? So, next headline. Shopper turnout hit record high over Black Friday weekend, Retail Trade Group says. I call nonsense on that because the initial reporting on Black Friday was there wasn't a lot of traffic. I would believe that a lot of that turnout was online. So, your next article, what retail apocalypse? How retailers are ushering in a retail renaissance with cutting-edge digital technology. Next, why retail workers are burned out and feel undervalued. Definitely worth checking that one out. Research from Mercer reveals the underpinning reasons retail and hospitality employees are dissatisfied with their jobs. Once again, another bogus headline as far as I'm concerned. Black Friday bigger than expected. Retail group reports. I'm not so sure about that. This one I am, though. Rough road ahead for retail employers and employees next year. And then, what a perfect way to end this screen. 'Tis the season to be exploited. Retail workers face busy, stressful holidays. Yep, and water is wet. Next, some 70,000 grocery and retail workers in Los Angeles will see better working conditions. LA City Council gives final approval to Fair Work Week ordinance, approves raises in DWP, and funds a bike lane. And, you know, something that we're all familiar with. Everyone has to work Black Friday. Retail worker says manager refused to give her time off while recovering from dental surgery. I requested this off like 6 weeks ago. I'm sure there's more to that. We all understand how the Black Friday thing works. If you're recovering from surgery or something like that, obviously they should have been able to make an exception. Next headline, union busting lawsuit planned as battle between Apple and its store staff intensifies. Yeah, they pretty much scared the St. Louis store into not ratifying their union vote. Retailer suppliers continue to struggle to get and keep high quality workers. Well, I think we all know why. And then this was bandied about today. A Walmart employee complained about suspect's behavior months before mass shooting, states lawsuit. A complaint about the employee was filed before the shooting, the suit said. Now, that's very possible. I mean, and you know, I know there's some polarizing opinions on the timing and whatnot, but at the same time, you know, it's common knowledge that they found like a manifesto and that this dude was being bullied and harassed himself. So, you know, there again, not really shocking. And in a great headline, is this the last Christmas for Sears? It should have been the last Christmas for Sears like a decade ago, but I don't know why they keep moving. I think there's only like 3 Sears left or something like that. It's something ridiculous. Everybody is trying to hide how bad it is. Dollar General employee says store across the country are completely overwhelmed, pleads for help. I used to think that this was due to lazy employees. Then I became a store manager for Dollar General. Can confirm. And then another one, Dollar General store violates federal law, endangers worker safety. And wait till you see what we got coming up here in a minute. So, see what we got going on here. At the Walmart, 30 minutes away from somebody was, I guess, what, on Black Friday? Killed, maybe? I don't know. Blaine Tech says that's the RILA. They haven't blocked me yet. Give them time. Hybrid says agreed they could make the train companies take the deal that the workers wanted. True. Hero says maybe it's compared to pandemic shopping. No, they're actually saying it was up over last year, which basically was the first Black Friday after the pandemic, they claimed. Yes, Sears is still around. So crazy. But, you know, a lot of stuff going on out there. Once again, shout out to our sponsor, The Serving Times, as if customer servant wasn't ridiculous enough. Link in the description. Go check it out. Fine journalism. Also, too, it's the holidays. Once again, shameless plug. Merch. Some cool stuff. It's a little pricey. I'm sorry. I can't help it. It's actually, they're the cheapest out there. So if you're so inclined, go get you something cool. And also, once again, we actually have gained 3 subscribers since last time, so that's nice. So if you have not subscribed, please do so. We would really, really appreciate it. Make sure you leave a comment in the description and all that other good stuff. You know, that's what the standard operating procedure in, you know, begging for subs, I believe. So, all right. So what brought us to the dance this evening is violations. The website that I use to source all this, the link is in the description for the video as well. It's a gazillion companies, okay? I mean, it's a lot. You can go through and pinpoint just about everybody. There were some surprising omissions. There was no bargain hunt. I was kind of shocked. There was another retailer I looked for. I can't remember now. That there was nothing. I looked up some other retailers, you know, just to see. IKEA. They didn't really have anything. You know, they had a couple of violations here or there. So, you know, I'd posted on Twitter, who would you like to hear about? And obviously a lot of the popular names come up. So I've got quite a few to go through here. Bear with me. I'll explain as I go why the format changes a little bit, because it's a huge amount of information. Huge. And there's some things that'll tell you what it is, and there's some things that it won't. And so in that case, it's just best just looking at, you know, the overall record. So having said that, hold on, here we go. So first on the list, Walmart. There's the information about the parent company right there on the left underneath the logo. So what this shows is your top 5 offense groups and your top 5 primary offense types. So keep in mind, the dollar amount might be lesser than others, but look at the number of records. So for instance, for Walmart, healthcare related offenses were over $3 billion. That was only one, and I'll explain what that is. There are several companies that have that right now. Then 111 employment-related offenses, $1.6 billion. Competition-related offenses, 2 records, $281 million. Environment-related, 99 records, $138 million. Consumer protection-related offenses, 25, $38 million. The top 5 primary offenses were off-label or unapproved promotion of medical products. That's the $3.1 billion. Just go ahead, spoiler alert, that is the opioid lawsuit that has hit a lot of the drug retailers. Number 2, wage and hour violation, $1.5 billion, 44 total records. Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, which is really kind of frightening. Environmental violation, employment discrimination. And if you look at the bottom, originally when I started doing this, I was going to try to focus on just 2022, and then the wheels came off the wagon doing the research, and so it changes as we go. But if you look, they've got the consumer protection violation, which is, $3 million there. There's a wage and hour violation, which was a private lawsuit, which is $5.9 million. Then at the very bottom, you see the opioid one. But had a little bit of information from these. The $3.1 billion, that was Walmart agreed to pay over $3 billion to settle multi-state litigation alleging it contributed to the opioid addiction crisis by failing to appropriately oversee the dispensing of opioids at its stores. So that was a multi-state attorney general case. In July of 2022, $5.9 million. Walmart agreed to pay $5.9 million to settle litigation alleging that it violated California labor regulations by refusing to provide seating for cashiers. That was kind of crazy. That's a lot of money to not provide seating, no matter how ridiculous you think sitting is. In April, there was a $3 million for making deceptive environmental claims and marketing rayon products as bamboo. I don't know how you do that, but I would think they would be two different things. But oh well, I digress. So next up was Amazon. Now, a lot of this stuff is public record. There's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that we're never going to see. But same thing, top 5 offense groups: consumer protection, employment related, environment related, safety related, competition related. As and something that interests us, employment related offenses, that was $88 million, 13 records. And we all know that there's more than that. So that's why all this information isn't 100% current, because there's private things and things that haven't been, hit the books yet, that haven't been settled. Their top 5 primary offenses were privacy, wage and hour, environmental, employment screening, and consumer protection. And there again, it only shows 5 records for wage and hour, and I don't buy that at all. But if you look, at some of their fines from 2022 all the way down to 2021, pretty pricey, right? In June of 2021, following a public comment period, the FTC has approved a final administrative consent order against Amazon, which has agreed to pay more than $61.7 million to settle charges that it failed to pay Amazon Flex drivers the full amount of tips they received from Amazon customers over a 2.5-year period. Nice. In July of 2021, Amazon agreed to pay $13.5 million to resolve multi-district claims brought by thousands of distribution center workers not compensated for time spent in mandatory security checks. That was an 11-year-long legal battle. And then in January of 2022, they agreed to pay $2.25 million in settlement of allegations its sold by Amazon program was unlawful price fixing, making agreements with third-party sellers guaranteeing certain levels of payment for sales in exchange for their agreement to stop competing with Amazon in the pricing of their products. Nice. All right, so next, Kroger. Once again, you have your top 5 groups. You got competition related, employment related, healthcare related, consumer protection related, safety related. And then their top 5 primary offense types are fraud, employment discrimination, Controlled Substances Act violation, privacy violation, wage and hour. Now, if you look at employment related offenses, it's saying 28 million, 45 total records. Safety, 2.7 million, that's 158 records. And you can see kind of some of them down there. There was the privacy lawsuit for $5 million. And this is where things get a little weird, like with how I've got everything stated, because they don't really show a lot of information when you break it down. In 2022, there was a penalty of $13,600 for child labor or youth employment violation. And that happened in Mississippi. In October of 2022, $180,000 for religious discrimination, and that was in Arkansas. In February of 2022, $23,246 workplace safety or health violation. Doesn't give you a lot of info there. Then there's the $5 million brought by customers whose personal data was involved in a cyber attack. In March of 2022, $12,762 workplace safety or health violation. 2021, workplace safety health. 2021 again. And that was a big one. That's $58,000 workplace safety or health violation. So you can kind of see as I go through these, there's not a lot of information as far as what the offenses are. You can actually go to the website and pull these up, and it'll take you to OSHA's website, but you have to jump through a million hoops to even get to what they're actually finding them for. And it's just, a blanket list of, standards. And next, this was requested by Gilgamesh, T-Mobile. Now, mind you, T-Mobile owns Sprint, Assurance Wireless, and a couple of other ones. Top 5, consumer protection, financial offenses, employment-related, competition-related, government contracting. Top 5 primary offense types: telecommunications violation, tax violations, consumer protection violation, employment discrimination, wage and hour violation. Now, if you look at the employment-related offenses, 38 records, $138 million. The consumer protection is huge. That's $842 million with a total of 42 instances. So you can kind of see some of the totals down there. The FCC in 2020, $200 billion. No, billion, excuse me. And I mean, just look at these totals. Look at the amount of money that they're having to pay out because they can't do shit right. In July of 2009, they paid out $8.7 million for an overtime violation. In June of 2020, $8 million wage and hour violation. October of 2021, another $2 million wage and hour violation, overtime pay collective action, cheating people out of OT. December of 2019, $4 million wage and hour violation. And then in November of 2020, $200 million to resolve an investigation of its subsidiary Sprint's compliance with the Commission's rules regarding waste, fraud, and abuse in the Lifeline program for low-income consumers. That is a lot. Next up, hybrid. This is for you. You said banks. Now, look, I'm not a financial guru. I didn't even bother listing offenses because just wait till y'all see this shit. All right. So top 5 financial offenses, consumer protection offenses, employment-related offenses, competition-related, government contracting. Look at these numbers. At $41 billion in financial offenses, $40 billion in consumer protection, $884 million in employment offenses. Their top 5, mortgage abuse, $39 billion. Toxic securities abuses, $23 billion. Investor protection violation, $13 billion. Banking violation, $4 billion. Consumer protection, $877 million. My God, but wait. Look at these fines. This is sorted from 2022 to 2019. Look at the amount of money they have had to pay out. In 2019, they had a criminal judgment against Merrill Lynch for price fixing for $25 million. I mean, look at these numbers. Where do they get this shit from? Chump change. Yeah, right. Okay, Erica. So, look, that's insanity. And look what the violations are. Investor protection, toxic securities. They had a Department of Justice civil rights judgment against them for $300,000 for the ADA. Insane. But wait, there's more. Wells Fargo. Top 5 groups: financial, consumer, competition, government, and employment. So I guess they treat their employees better. I don't know, because that was bottom of the 5. Top 5 primary offense types: mortgage abuse, banking violation, toxic securities, fraud, and investor protection. Financial offenses, 10 bill. Consumer, 6 bill. Competition, 3 bill. This is insanity. Same thing. Look at these fines. Anti-money laundering deficiencies from the Securities and Exchange Commission, 7 mil. $145 million for a benefit plan administration violation. $22 million for whistleblower retaliation. Private lawsuit, $32 million. Private lawsuit, $18 million. Banking violation, $250 million. This is just ridiculous. Fraud in 2020, $3 billion. It's crazy. So after that, we decided to take a trip down the most unsafe places to work, and it's a 2-team race, boys and girls. Dollar General. Top 5: employment-related, financial, safety, consumer protection, environment-related. Top 5 primary offense types: employment discrimination, accounting fraud, wage and hour, workplace safety or health, and employment screening. Okay, look at the safety-related total. 126. 126. Wait till you see the numbers. So look, this is 2022 and part of 2021. Almost every one of those are OSHA violations. I thought, they probably hold the record. But wait, believe it or not, they don't. Dollar Tree. Top 5: employment, safety, environment, consumer. Look at their safety-related offenses. 288. The number's not as high, but the fines. But 288 instances. Top 5 primary offenses: wage and hour, employment discrimination, workplace safety, environmental violation, product safety violation. So let's take a look. 2022, this is all I could fill the screen with. So Dollar Tree distribution, employment discrimination, EEOC, $50,000. Wage and hour violation, Dollar Tree, Family Dollar, 1.5 mil. Dollar Tree, workplace safety, OSHA, 131,000. 2022, Family Dollar, OSHA, 685,000. Family Dollar again in 2022, 547,000. It's insanity. You're right, Russell. That's why it's $125 to pay that off. I was just shocked. And then we had some other requests, and there wasn't a lot. Teresa Green had asked for Scholastic, the book fair people. And they did have some stuff. They had an FTC filing in 2005 for $710,000, one in 2004 for $90,000, and they did have a workplace safety or health violation for $14,000. So there wasn't a whole lot there. And then the retail experience requested Dunkin' Donuts. I was today's years old when I found out the parent company is Roark Capital. Their top 5 offense, well, they only have 4. Employment, consumer, safety, environment. Employment-related offenses take the lead there, 34 records at 11.8 mil. Top 5 primary offense types: wage and hour, privacy, workplace safety, labor relations, and benefit plan administrator violation. As far as the years go, nothing current. The most current was 2018. That was $12,000. But the NLRB got him in 2006 for $138,000. And then I decided to check out Big Lots. Employment-related offenses, environment, and safety. Wage and hour being the number 1 primary offense, followed by environmental, employment discrimination, and workplace safety. And they didn't have anything in 2022. So it started at 2021, and we eked into 2016. So not a whole lot. And I worked for the company, and they were pretty shitty. So I'm really kind of surprised there's not more of this. But, they had a private lawsuit for wage and hour violations that was, $7 million. I mean, they had another private lawsuit for wages for 1.1 mil. Another one for employment screening violation for 1.1 mil. Environmental violation, I don't even want to know what that is. I just don't. So after that, we got CVS. And CVS owns Aetna, just in case anybody doesn't know. Their top 5 offense: healthcare, government, consumer protection, employment, and competition related. Consumer protection, 236 records at $120 million. Healthcare related offenses, 686 mil. Their top 5 primary offense types. Number 1 is False Claims Act and related. Off-label or unapproved promotion of medical products. Controlled Substances Act violation. Wage and hour. The wage and hour is 108 mil. An insurance violation. That's great, seeing how they own Aetna. 195 records of that, 49 mil. But you kind of look and see their wage and hour in 2021, there was a private lawsuit that was 10.3 mil. Then in 2021, Omnicare, which they own, that was another private lawsuit for wage and hour. That was 1 million. Insurance violation in 2021 in New York for 1.2 mil. I mean, this is just, off-label or unapproved promotion of medical products. I mean, this is one of the largest pharmacies in the world, and they're doing shit like that. $484 million. Insanity. Then we got Aldi. And this will be the last one we go over. Did not know this. Aldi owns Trader Joe's. I was totally unaware until today. But their top offenses: employment-related, environment-related, safety, top 5. Wage and hour violation, even though the number of records is only 6, it's the most money. Then environmental, workplace safety, employment screening, and labor relations. So Trader Joe's in 2022 in Washington lost out for $44,000 on wage and hour. There was a private lawsuit in federal in 2021, $2 million. And then in 2018, there was their big one, a private lawsuit for wage and hour, $9.8 million. So that was a fun trip. Let's see what we got. Article on Twitter about Dollar General. Yep, that is correct. Hero says Wells Fargo had to pay people out this year for charging overdraft fees on transactions that did not overdraft accounts. Oh, yep. Good stuff. Adria's right, and that gets us to where we are today. Yeah, correct. overtly trying to crush the working class, and that's what we get. Yep. So, looking at these things, it's frightening when you look at how much money these companies are willing to pay out just to make something go away, but yet they won't increase benefits. They won't increase pay. It's insane. I mean, look at the amount of money these companies have spent in violations. Wage and hour violations, things like that, things that they could improve, to where they wouldn't have to pay those fines out. But like somebody had said on Twitter, a lot of these companies would much rather just pay fines. And I don't understand that, because you're still losing money. And I mean, it's still dumbfounding to me how much money Bank of America's paid out. Oh my God. I mean, that's, if we were working in a store and we made errors of that magnitude, we would get fired, right? So you've got like Bank of America, all these fines. That seems to me that's poorly managed. Nobody getting fired for that shit. They just paying people off. Just don't here's some money, here's some money, here's some money. Rather than fix the problems. And with the Walmart stuff. We know how much money. Walmart is the largest employer in the United States. I think they're the largest employer in 26 out of the 50 states. That's insanity. Absolute insanity. And hybrid, you bring up a good point. Who footed that bill? Who foots these bills? They talk about inflation. You mean to tell me that some of these price increases through the years came from, oh shit, we got to pay a bunch of money to Uncle Sam or some regulatory committee. We got to find it somewhere, because they sure as shit aren't cutting executive pay. Hero says it's a numbers game of if you get caught versus the cost of doing honest business. That's true. Adria, you're right. Crushing the working class is their top priority at any cost, because these are when you look at these things, this is what makes the entire working class argument sickening, is that's just ungodly amounts of money that's just getting tossed around. And they would much rather toss that money around to that kind of shit than actually pay people. I mean, what is wrong? I mean, look, it's just kind of ridiculous when you're seeing totals, for wage and hour that are close to $1 billion. Man, they could have saved that money, and split it out amongst employees. I mean, I don't understand. It's like, they would rather treat the working class like shit and work them into the ground and take the risk of getting fined. And I guess in their mind, it's like, fine, well, somebody's getting it, but they ain't. Maybe that's it. I don't know. But it's nauseating to see how much money is getting put out from these. I mean, you look at like Dollar Tree. I've never been into a Dollar Tree back room that isn't an OSHA violation. I mean, or a Dollar General. And where does that come from? It comes from mismanagement. It comes from, pushing more freight out to stores than stores can handle because they were cheap and wanted a small building. So they give you a back room the size of a closet, and then they try to fit a full semi's worth of product back there, and then they only give you X amount of hours to work it. And they, Dollar Tree's thing was, we'd get a truck on Monday, we had to have it done by Tuesday. And sometimes with the logistics of the hours and whatnot and what was going on, you just couldn't. But they'd rather have the safety violations than invest in their infrastructure to at least get that part of it right. Erica, you're right. Channeling Mr. Carlin. It's a big club and we ain't in it. And that's a shame. But it should make you even more angry about, the working class, that all the things that we ask for or the things that we're trying to get, in a lot of instances, is a smaller dollar amount than it doesn't even remotely come close to what these companies have paid out in the past 5 years. I mean, it's huge. You can't sit with those vibes. And it just shows the people with money get to call shots. And that's everywhere. I mean, and it's in everything we do. I mean, look, if you do videos on YouTube and stuff like that, guess what? You can't make any money off YouTube unless you have X amount of subscribers and X amount of watch time. So that's being gatekept. And who owns YouTube? Google, right? Huge company. You're not allowed to sit at the table unless you reach a certain point. Same thing with, Twitch. And you're right, Adria. It's hard to keep your chin up and not be depressed. And that's why it's so hard for people, that struggle, right? And it's especially hard for people in management. Like I said, I'm just lucky. I mean, I don't really have to worry about the management part of it anymore, but it's still a struggle. I mean, we all should make more money, period. But when you get into situations where, especially in retail, where you've got store managers working themselves into the ground for not near, and don't get me wrong, it's not a fair wage across the board. But, you scale that up. Your lower level employees don't make a living wage. A store manager might make, at a Dollar Tree, might start out at 42, maybe, if you're lucky, depending on the volume store you're in. But if you're making 42 grand and you got a family, that does not go far. And then you look on the backside of it, insurance. How many people out there have a full-time job and you don't pick up the benefits because they're just so fucking expensive that it just eats your check away? You can't afford it. It's like I've said before. It's like, the big bad machine's trying to process all out of living. Because sure, you might have a decent paycheck, but with a decent paycheck comes more expensive insurance. Funny how that works, right? You go to a company that has, especially in retail, quote unquote, good benefits, but they're more expensive, and they just eat your paycheck. And there again, let's say you have insurance and you don't use it for a year, but it's like, so you're just giving money away. Here, take it. Mad Dog says, making 42,000, but actually working 55 to 60 hours. You ain't making shit. That's correct. Adria says, company crap wages is bad enough, then add shitty customers on top of that. Yeah. The shitty customer thing really showed itself during COVID. Because even though there were a lot of people, quote unquote, thankful that you were open and you were an essential employee, there were a lot of people that were pissed off and scared about the pandemic that were already bad people to begin with, and they just treated you like garbage. And, there should be like a customer differential pay. I think there should be like a scale of pay that you get a bump if you have to interact with the customers more than, say, somebody in the back that doesn't have to. There should be some sort of incentive to not punch a customer. Mad Dog says, now in holidays, I'm working 5.5 days a week. Yep. I think my boss has worked 10 days straight or some mess. I'm glad I don't have to do that anymore. If I want to pick up an extra day, I can, but it's by choice. I'm not forced to, and if you're a manager in retail, you get told, lots of times, fourth quarter, mandatory 6-day work weeks, period. Hero says, Steve should open a store called It Is What It Is. Customers act shitty. You get to say the name of the store to them. Nice. Mad Dog says, last day off was Thanksgiving. I won't be off until Saturday. Hey, I ain't got to do that no more. You have fun with that. I'm not saying I won't ever have to do it again, but I've had a pretty good run here. So, and yes, I did work on Thanksgiving, and to some people that's awful, but 4 hours of it was peaceful because there wasn't a customer to be found. But yeah, so when you go back to the financial part of it, you look at, those are some staggering numbers that could have been spent better, could have improved, employees' lives, could have been bonuses, Christmas bonuses. That's an unheard of thing for a lot of places now. some sort of incentive, you know. GT Geek says, I'm working for myself. However, I still deal with irate customers wanting the world on a silver platter. Yeah, and that's, I don't know why people are so entitled these days. And am I not correct in that most of the entitled people are probably 45 years or older? Can we agree on that? That it's older folk that are the worst? You can also get holiday pay on Thanksgiving. I do it every other year. All while being rude as fuck. Yes. Yes. All right. So see, yeah, Russell, I mean, that just because you sign up for something and you agree to it doesn't mean you have to like it. Doesn't mean you can't complain about it. You know, they're only signing up for it because they need the gig. It doesn't mean they have to like it. Yep, always the older folk. And these older peeps are crazy and rude and impatient. And yes, and once again, I think blame tags dropped out, but the amount of people who once again refuse to say excuse me, oh, come on. Come on. I think we should be able to like punch a customer in the stomach if they do it like more than 3 times. Right. Blame tag just nailed it. Really. They're paying these lawsuits with money from your labor. So you're working so they can afford to fuck you. Yes. Hybrid says, someone wanted one of those fire pits I'm reselling for 30. They're worth 140 and you're selling them for 50. No, absolutely not. If I had the money and I was near you, I would buy that. I'm not going to lie. That's a hell of a deal for that fire pit. You know, but see, people get the impression that when you're selling something online or whatnot, that you're hard up for money and whatnot, and they can dicker you down. No. Hero says, and older people are the only ones that have told me I should carry their special item because it's available on Amazon. Wow. See, they know us on Amazon. They don't know how to use the internet nor computers. They probably still want to write a paper check, so they don't want to use a debit card or a credit card online. So it's where your work's false that you don't carry it because you've inconvenienced them. They can't buy it the old-fashioned way. Blame Tag says, I walked away from a customer today for not saying excuse me. I was so over it today. Yep. Oh, Mad Dog says, had to take a check today. Yeah. I honestly believe that a lot of these people that just write checks seriously do believe like having a debit card is like the mark of the beast. Crazy. A paper check is safer. There's some people here in banking that will probably disagree with you. But to them, they think a paper check is safer. But then you got to play that whole thing. You've got some of them that, well, if I write this check today, it's not going to clear for 3 days. So it's kind of like I have money that I don't have. You know, you're right, though, Blaine Tank. They do think it's safer. You know, but it's crazy. And then there's, you write a bad check, you get a fee. I mean, come on, man. It's kind of stupid. Kind of stupid indeed. But yeah, I mean, there's really an age range for the rude customers. I was at work. I might have told this on one of the other streams. I can't remember. I was at work and I was at self-checkout because I love the self-checkout. And this older gentleman was scanning and it was flashing at him because he had beer. And he yelled at the kid like, can you come do whatever you need to do? I need to get out of here. And I just turned around and stared at him. It just literally, and he looked at me kind of side-eyed him. I just sat there and looked at him. And he kind of huffed and walked out. I'm like, calm the fuck down, bro. Older people don't understand that checks don't take days to clear anymore. Oh, yeah, I don't understand. I mean, checks serve their purpose, but like I said, I think they believe that like credit cards, especially the debit card now that you can just tap. Oh, that's a chip. That's the mark of the beast. Nope, they're not doing it at all. At all. So, all right. So we're just about 10 minutes out, and I didn't do it last week because I didn't have one, but I do this week. So the question of the week this week With Christmas around the corner, what is the worst customer fiasco you have witnessed in the month of December? Winner, Django Freeman Esquire. Had a guy threaten to come back and shoot everyone in the store on Christmas Eve because we wouldn't let him in after closing to buy one of these. I wish I was lying. Wow. It ain't that serious, folks. Ain't that serious. But, yeah, oh my God, right. Exactly. Those cakes are awful. That's the point. That's the point. You know, I'd rather have a fruitcake than that. If fruitcakes are awful. I hope I'm not offending anybody, but I think fruitcakes are nasty. But yeah, I mean, I would put one outside the door just because. But I mean, what's some of the craziest stuff you've witnessed in, December? We got a few minutes here. So what do you guys got? Holy Mother of God. Yeah, right. It's a perfect doorstop. You're not missing nothing, Blank Tank. Oh, you haven't eaten a fruitcake? The best way I can describe a fruitcake is like eating, like a rubber doorstop that has it's supposed to be real fruit in there, but it doesn't taste like real fruit. And that's an older person delicacy. I'm telling you, because I don't think I've seen anybody under the age of 40 buy a fruitcake at all. And I think we'd be hard pressed to find many, between 40 and 50 that buy it. I will say this, I don't know how you guys, if there's things that, tickle your fancy at Christmas, certain kind of decorations or whatnot, but I want every one of y'all to pray for me, because Hero has an addiction, and it's gnomes. There's gnomes everywhere in my fucking house. Gnomes. I mean, so much so that I have even fallen victim to it, to be nice to her. Bought a gnome head tree topper. Gnomes. So please, pray for this family, because they might become possessed and kill us all. I don't know. I know one of my cats don't like them. But, yeah, gnomes. There's no elf on the shelf here. I'm just surrounded by gnomes. Hero says I actually like good fruitcake. Some people put too much rum in there. I would argue there's no such thing as too much rum in a fruitcake. That's probably the only way it's edible, is with too much rum. Because I don't like it. Russell, I'm going to ban you from the channel for that. Do not encourage. Oh, Lord. Gnomes. I mean, it is. I mean, it's, and I'm guilty. Current count out is just 4 plus some Santa gnome ornaments. No, there's more than 4 gnomes in this home. Oh, I know. You buy them because it rhymes with home. And so instead of elf on a shelf, it's gnome in a home. That's what this shit is. Oh my God. They're kind of weird looking. Oh, you're saying out. Okay. God forbid they make. Does anybody know if they make gnome Funko Pops? Because that'd be a horrible, horrible thing. But yeah. But it's a scourge here. So what kind of decorations do you guys have? Well, okay, first of all, how many of you have decorated? How many of you have your Christmas tree up now? Just curious. I think, Russell, I know you do. Mad Dog says I have a doormat at work that says gnome, sweet gnome. All right, Mad Dog's Christmas tree's up. There's one. Who else? Adria says someone started screaming at me last year because I didn't know anything about their turkey reservation. I'm not in the meat department, and that was Christmas, not Thanksgiving. Oh, you can't fit a tree in your RV, but you got an RV, so I'm jealous. RVs are cool. Uh-oh, wait a minute here. Okay. We don't decorate your heathens. Hey, you're my type of heathens. Kick ass. I want my fruit tray. Oh. Yeah, so the real quick work story from, I guess it was last year, or maybe it was last year or year before. Anyway, Gentleman comes in. He had ordered a fruit tray. He had ordered actually from the deli, but he went to produce and said fruit tray wasn't ready because he was there on the wrong day. And he was at the wrong department. Cusses out the produce people. The store manager comes over. This man yells, "I want my fruit tray." And this is an older gentleman. I'm talking probably 70, right? Balls his fists up, tells the store manager, "I'm going to whip your ass over a fruit tray." The store manager was like, "Nope, you're going to sit right down." And he did, and he crossed his arms and kind of pouted like a kid, from what I've been told. But yeah, so that happened last year. We had a 70-year-old man threaten to whip our store manager's ass over a fruit tray that he ordered for a different day than he came from a different department. Oh, Blame Tank says, I can't remember a specific story, but people would hold up a long line of people buying movie tickets to buy like $10 gift cards. Yeah, that sucks. That's like lottery people too, man. Lottery people, it never fails. I'll go into a gas station to like get a pack of cigarettes or something, and it never fails. I wind up walking in, and there's only one other person in there, and they're at the checkout, and they're wanting like 17 to 20 different lottery tickets. It's like, come on, man. There should be, if there's a way to make self-checkout, there should be like self-dispensing lottery ticket machines in South Carolina. They had them in Georgia. Georgia, you could go put money in a machine and spit tickets out. Oh, no, not here in South Carolina. You got to go do this shit by hand. And then when the Powerball gets really, really heavy, oh, God. It's ticket after ticket after ticket after ticket. Crazy shit. So, all right, everybody. So we're just about an hour. This has been fun. I highly suggest you go check out the website with the tracker. Like I said, the link's in I think it's goodjobs.org or something like that. They also have a tracker for the companies that got the stimulus loans. So that might be something we do soon too, is we take a look at some of these companies who got like the payroll protection loans and whatnot, and weigh it against them laying people off, things like that. If there's stuff you guys want to cover or you want me to cover and dig into, you know how to get in touch with me. Let me know. I'm game for just about anything. If you have anybody out there who wants to be on the show that has a story to tell or whatnot, please send them my way. We don't bite. I changed our description on YouTube just to let you guys know, and made sure to put that chat is king here. The chat really is what makes it worthwhile. It really does. The interaction, the critiques, the differences of opinion, all of it, as long as we play nice, it's fantastic. It's worth every bit of this. It's amazing. And there's a reason why, I set up the stream from the very beginning, having the chat part of the stream. So it's a focal point. It really is. People need to, you got something to say. People need to hear what you have to say, good, bad, or indifferent. So it's a cool thing. But having said that, we're going to wrap it up here. The audio will be up in a little bit, although Spotify's down. So, and Anchor, which is my podcast host, is Spotify. So the audio may not go up until tomorrow. I'll let you guys know. I am working on doing a music podcast. I think I got an idea what we're going to do for the first one. I've got to get in touch with a certain drummer and a certain Iron Maiden, because I think we're going to do it, and the inaugural episode will be all Led Zeppelin. So that would be cool. But that's coming, and I'll let you know as that gets closer. Probably not until, sometime in 2023, but it's coming. It's something I've wanted to do. I just haven't got around to it yet. So, Russell says, until you have Jimmy on, I'm not hoping for nothing. That's my Christmas wish, Steve. I am not getting Jimmy on the podcast because I'd never get him off of the podcast. I'd have to stop the stream in order to go to bed or whatnot. So, cool. Yeah, that's another thing. We haven't done a retail therapy in a while. Maybe we do one about Thanksgiving and Christmas here in the next couple of weeks. Adria, if you're not familiar with that format, typically I'm off on Sundays. That's not a live thing. We have like a big Skype chat and we talk about stuff. And what I do is I take the audio from that and edit it and like upload it as its own thing. So if you go to the YouTube channel and check out one of the retail therapy sessions, that's what we do. If you'd be interested in doing that, it works real good with myself and about 3 or 4 other people. So that's something we need to get back to doing too in the first of the year. I've kind of slacked off on that, but there's been a lot going on. So, we've had COVID and sicknesses and whatnot. And then I needed a break because I was kind of burnt out there for a minute. But it is what it is. So having said that, thank you everyone for being here tonight. It's been great fun as always. I do not know what's coming up Wednesday. Oh, I do know what's coming up Wednesday. Next Wednesday, Stephen Petrovelli. We're going to talk about his retail comic and the new issue that's come out. We may talk some other random stuff. Who knows? But it'd be fun. Come by, show your support for him. The comic's great. If you haven't checked it out, please do. It is awesome. So everybody else, have a great, great night. Everybody stay safe. The year's almost over. You're going to put your head down. Next you know, it's going to be January 1st. So keep on keeping on, and you'll be fine. Everybody have a great night. Thanks.